Some people say that Es Vedrà is actually the upper portion of the lost city of Atlantis because of this magnetic force that is here. Like, is this a hot spot for aliens? Was this a biblical being, or was this perhaps a siren? Today, we're going to focus on one specific place known for disappearances, mermaids, aliens, and raves.
Suddenly, I want to go to Ibiza. Hi.
I really want to drop the beat right now and get some club music going because we're going to Ibiza.
Ooh, Barcelona.
Ibiza, however you want to say it.
Sevilla.
But we're talking mermaids and UFOs in Ibiza today.
No way.
Drop the beat.
Drop the beat.
We're not
Mermaids
going
are like my
clubbing.
favorite topic, but I feel frustrated with our listeners because very rarely do we ever get any story about a mermaid.
So you're mad
Mm-hmm.
at all of
At
you.
everyone.
Anyone who's listening. If you have a story about a mermaid,
Please send it.
send it to us.
But actually I have a shout out for one of our listeners.
Oh.
Gina.
Hey,
I just met Gina 20 minutes ago.
where?
It's 8 a.m. I'm going to the CVS in Hamilton.
I was
My-
going to say you left your home.
I did. I had to. I had to go to get Gas X. so shopping list was toothbrush and Gas X. I'm wearing sweat shorts. My knees have had really bad scrapes on them after I did like gardening months ago, and I cannot get them to be normal again. So I have like black dots on my knees. So I was like, I got to do something. I slathered like thick lotion on them. I have white knees covered in like a thick cream. I'm like, no one's going to see me. I'm going to go to
No
like the
one's gonna know.
self-checkout. There's going to be no one here. It's 8 a.m. in Hamilton. I walk in, I'm in there for like 30
There's
seconds.
Gina.
Are you Corinne? I'm like, fuck. But Gina was so lovely. Shout out to Gina. She was so great. She's
She
two
went
young
home
kids.
and she said, wow, Corinne has weird knees.
Yeah, I like spoken riddles. You caught me before coffee, Gina.
You're a troll. You were speaking in riddles.
I change the topic every 3 seconds. She's probably like, oh my God. But she was very put together and she has 2 really young kids. So I was like, damn, I didn't get myself together.
You are together. Give yourself more credit.
Overly lotioned knees.
I haven't
gas
put
X trip
lotion
at
on
8
my
a.m.
body in like weeks. So
Oh,
at
wow.
least your knees are moisturized.
Gina, thank you you didn't appear to judge me. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thanks,
I have
Gina.
a shout out to, this is like one of the first times like in public I've been approached.
Ooh. Recently?
Yeah,
You
in
didn't tell me
LA.
this.
Shout out to Jessica. So I was at Rooster Fish with like some of our friends.
Is that a new restaurant?
It's like a restaurant / bar. It's
Okay.
a bar on Abbot Kinney.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say I've never felt cooler because I was with friends
Right.
and we were all like having drinks. And Jess came up and was like, excuse me, like, I don't want to interrupt you. Are you Sabrina? And I was like, yeah. She goes, I love your podcast.
Did you feel so cool?
I felt so cool. And she was like, I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm like, oh my gosh, no, like talk to me. Hi.
Yeah.
Hello.
Wait, give me more compliments, but like say it loudly so
Do you
everyone
want to
can
take a
hear.
photo? No, it was great. It was very nice to be spotted. Because I feel like I'm I think in the past, people have been too scared to say something to me.
Because you did, yeah, people have directly said, I've spotted you, but I felt like but also I told you, it's because you walk the speed that other people run. So no one can catch you. You look like you can't be interrupted because you look like you're always on
On the go.
a mission.
I thought it was because I seem intimidating and scary.
No, you're just
But
fast.
Oh, thank you. I'm pleasant. I promise. I'll be nice. Also, another shout out to our listeners because I was going through the Dunkin' Donuts drive-thru today and I usually have my Owen protein milk. So I'll get a black iced coffee and then or a coffee and I put my Owen in it. And I really like the salted caramel Owen. It's like 32 grams of protein.
Owen and Duncan, you have to sponsor us. Like this
Yes.
is ridiculous
Yes.
at this point.
But today,
Look at all the free press we're giving you.
we really are. And I even posted on our Instagram story because today I didn't have my Owen. And I was like, I don't want just like plain black coffee. That sounds too acidic. That just doesn't sound yummy. It sounds icky. So I posted on our story within seconds, I'm in the drive-through line. So I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys, someone's got to help me quickly. Within seconds, people are responding and giving recommendations. So today I tried a medium iced coffee with 2 pumps of the caramel swirl
Ooh.
and oat milk, and I added an espresso shot, and I think it's pretty delicious.
Oh, yeah.
So thanks, listeners. Thanks
Tell
for
us all
helping
of
us
your
out.
orders for the New England coffee shops.
And thanks, Duncan, because you're welcome, Duncan.
Yeah, I don't know. Thank you, and you're welcome.
Anyway, we're going into the ocean today. And I was going to do like a full weird things in the ocean, throw at you a modge podge of things. But then I was like, why do that when I can make multiple episodes out of this? Because there are so many things. And then this one place has an episode's worth of content.
Are we actually going to Ibiza? Like specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I
It's
thought it was like
literally-
we're going to Spain, but we're like,
No, it's
woo.
literally in Ibiza.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
So I'm going to give you some context here because growing up, I would spend the summers, or I'd spend like 2 weeks of the summer in Cape May with my family. And it
Mhm.
kind of always lined up with Shark Week. And it's like this weird, like we'd go swim in the ocean with who knows what
Mhm.
monstrosities beneath our feet, and then go home to the hotel and watch Shark Week. And then the next day we're like rinse and repeat, like keep
Yeah.
doing it.
I like
And
can't do that. I'm so scarred from watching all the like videos of shark attacks. I can't go beyond my knees. Like yesterday evening, we went to the beach to like attempt to get Noah to like it.
Mhm.
And all these kids are like 30 feet out.
Not Noah.
Not me. Not Noah.
Not you. You're talking about the kids. It's like, not me.
Not me. Dun dun.
Dun, dun. I did watch Jaws on the plane ride home.
Mm.
So it is this weird, like, we're just having fun in the ocean, which is, I think, scientifically proven by me in my belief system that the ocean is the largest cemetery there is.
Mhm.
There are thousands and thousands of bodies. Actually, I wrote some statistics down. But so as I get into the statistics and into this episode, I want to say you're welcome for providing you with unease that while you're on your vacation and enjoying the ocean, just
You enjoy
for
it
a
less.
moment, just for one moment, these stats are going to slip into your mind and you're going to be like, God damn it, Sabrina. But anyway, you're welcome. Okay, so stats. Over 80% of the ocean remains unexplored,
Mhm.
unmapped, and completely unknown to us humans. An estimated 3 million shipwrecks lie on the ocean floor.
Whoa.
3 million.
That's a lot.
With those comes millions of bodies, sailors, pirates, passengers, all unwillingly buried on the ocean floor, some of which might have never fully decomposed due to high pressure and water temperatures.
Okay, that was going to be one of my questions because it's kind of like
Isn't that crazy?
certain lakes
Yeah.
have like a layer of body. Is it Lake Tahoe that has like a layer of bodies?
I've
Or is it-
never heard this.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I wouldn't be surprised, but that is also very unsettling.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I'm curious how many bodies are just floating or how long even bones. Like think about like whale bones, they're massive.
Yeah.
How long do they exist?
Right.
And what's the percentage of actual creature bone in sand?
Good question. But so there are like bodies that like have not decomposed, like meaning that they're in like full. I mean,
They just look-
granted, I'm sure that there's like sea critters and creatures who have probably eaten them,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, lots of bodies. The deepest part of the ocean that we know of and have actually been able to explore is nearly 7 miles deep and is called the Challenger Deep in the Mariana Trench, which is like off of the coast of the Philippines and Japan. 7 miles deep. That's the deepest we have been able to explore.
That does not seem deep at all.
7 miles?
Wait, but how deep is the ocean?
That's the deepest we know.
Oh, that's the deepest we know.
Yeah. 7 miles is a lot.
It's also so like where does the atmosphere, like when does it become space?
What do
Maybe
you-
that will help me in perspective. Like,
how many miles?
up do we have to go?
Wait. Let's see.
Because the miles thing, like I don't understand air and sea. I like the crust.
You like land. Okay, to leave Earth's atmosphere, you need to travel approximately 62 miles above sea level.
Okay.
Or consider space to begin at 50 miles. I think that's when like the gravity levels change.
Oh, that just like my heart just dropped and that gives me so much anxiety. The only 50 miles from us Like basically think about going on like a 50-minute drive. Like you're driving 45 minutes and you're in space. Ugh.
That's cool. See,
That's way too close. Get away from me.
We literally wouldn't exist if we didn't like exist in space. Like Earth is in space.
I like
we are
my
already
oxygen.
in space.
I like the ozone.
You're safe. No, but like think about 7 miles deep. That's the furthest we've had the capacity to get.
Which is very freaky.
Places much deeper. But all right, more creepy stats about the ocean. Rogue waves can exceed 100 feet tall and appear out of nowhere. There have been humanoid sounds recorded in the depths of the ocean. I think they're called like bloops.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to do this in a future episode.
Are they human? Because I thought bloops were just like all very unidentified. Like could be any sort of creature, but we just don't know.
It could be any type of creature, but like they are humanoid in the sense that like they are using vocal expression.
There's language.
Yeah. There are underwater pools called brine pools that kill literally anything that enters it.
Underwater?
Yep.
Like you just happen upon a brine pool and die?
Yeah, because it's like highly acidic and it will just destroy you. It's like a tide pool, but in the ocean that will kill you. It's like a black hole in the ocean. There are underwater anomalies and supposed UFOs beneath the ocean surface. And there are, my God, we could do a whole episode about UFO stations and like alien studies and labs that are happening under the ocean. And I also saw a TikTok the other day that talked about how there are octopus cities.
Yes.
But I also like did fall for that rabbits bouncing on the trampoline.
Oh, you did?
So like, I don't know what's real and what's not.
No, I think the Octopus City thing is real.
But then I saw like 2 different versions of it where one was like this like really beautiful, picturesque version of one.
No, they're toppling each other's houses down. Right. I think it's like a territorial dispute where they're all trying to build their home in the same spot. And it's all
like kind of decayed old things from the ocean.
Yeah. Octopus City doesn't look like, it's not like a Pixar. Well,
someone was like, it's like Atlantis, but it's for octopus.
I like the thought of that.
I do too. Then we have, speaking of Atlantis, there are legends of lost cities like Atlantis, which is going to come up in this episode. We've got areas like the Bermuda Triangle and the Devil's Sea where people, places, things disappear to never be found again. And there are mermaids and aliens. And there is so much that I'm going to revisit in future episodes. But today we're going to focus on one specific place known for disappearances, mermaids, aliens, and raves.
Can I just point out that we have lit the candles for the past few episodes that we've recorded, and we thought that one was flickering because it was about to go out, but it's always that one, and it's the closest one to you.
Hey, buddy.
So,
if you have a message for me, flicker again. If you just want to hang out in Ibiza with us, flicker again.
Okay.
Right, debunked or annoyed. So here we are. We're going to set the stage. Set in the shimmering blue Mediterranean Sea, Ibiza, however you want to say it, is one of the most infamous travel destinations in the world. It's just 90 miles off the mainland coast of Spain, and Ibiza offers a variety of extracurriculars and extraterrestrials. You have swimming, snorkeling, diving, sailing, and clubbing. I mean, I think it's safe to say Ibiza is known for its nightlife.
I know, I can't. I don't even know what else they have aside from nightlife. I looked up quizzed me.
This one club, or I looked up because I knew that there were clubs that are overnight or sometimes days long. The longest club is open from 4:30 p.m. on Sunday to 6 a.m. the next day. So it's 13 hours.
On a Sunday?
Yeah.
Jeez, what are you guys doing over in Spain?
It's funny because it's this whole podcast is all about the unknown and unexplainable, but I feel like I understand the unexplainable more than I understand someone clubbing for 13 hours.
Life in Ibiza is way more foreign.
You are way more alien to me than aliens in the sky.
Maybe they are aliens that go there.
Maybe.
It's just the land of aliens disguised as extreme clubbers.
I could see that. If that's the type of alien you are, don't abduct me. That's where I draw the line.
Yeah. You have to know what their interests are.
That's my boundary.
God, you can't be overly social.
No. So this brings us to a serene island or islet just off the coast of Ibiza, untouched by clubs, untouched by even human beings. It is Es Vedrà. Es Vedrà is a stunning rocky islet, one of Ibiza's iconic landscapes. It's the landmark that visitors like fly over, and it's kind of like, oh, we're here, because it's right on the way to the airport. And it's positioned off the southwest coast of Ibiza and stands approximately 382 to 413 meters tall. It's formed from Mesozoic limestone and is the result of geological tumbles, which I love that phrase.
Oh, the tumbles. It's like someone has a giant, like a huge, like alien, whatever like creature runs Earth, has a giant rock tumbler.
Ooh, I was picturing like gymnastics. Like all these rocks are doing gymnastics for like 100 years. I like
the music comes on and they're like right at the edge, ready to bounce their way
and then
forward.
it ends and he lands right off the coast of Ibiza. But okay, so starting some 155 million years ago, with all the tectonic plates shifting, seismic movement, the Batika, I might be saying that wrong, mountain range split and formed the Balearic Islands, which Ibiza is part of that. And Es Vedrà split and surfaced, emerging where it is today.
So there's nothing on that. It's just a giant limestone
rock, correct,
formation.
We'll share some history with that.
Okay.
Some people say that Es Vedrà is actually the upper portion of the lost city of Atlantis.
Oh my God. Suddenly I want to go to Ibiza.
To find Atlantis?
Yeah.
A lot of this episode is like legend, lore, speculation. Some of it you can understand where it comes from. Some of it, it's like, is this just like a cherry on top to add more to it?
I don't even remember where Atlantis is supposed to be.
So I think
like
one of the supposed
theory.
Locations is not far from here. That's why they believe like it's the top of Atlantis that like resurfaced.
Oh, okay.
While it is beautiful, it is only possible to view Es Vedrà from afar because it is protected land, uninhabited by humans. You need a permit from local authorities to visit the land itself, but otherwise you can view it like from Ibiza coast. And it's a great spot where people stop and like overlook and watch the sunset. Like watching the sunset from Ibiza is
beautiful,
stunning.
Wow.
You can also take a boat around the area, but there are a lot of flora and fauna that are protected, that they're truly, this is sad, but there were like a species of goats on Es Vedrà, and they were consuming the flora and fauna there, that the country of Spain literally like just wiped them all out. Not relocated them, like killed them all the goats.
Were they a specific species of goat like that only existed there too?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
I hope not. But
Well,
as two girls, one goat, we are offended.
Can you eat goat?
I think you could eat anything if you really wanted to. You could eat humans.
But we don't. But that is a really good segue into one of my future episodes.
So we're just going to do your episode now?
Yes. So we're traveling to a different type of island. No, come back in 3 weeks.
Okay. Scared. Is it like, okay, I'll wait.
Yeah.
Okay, but not to eating humans, but pivoting to humans. There's only one human who has ever lived on Es Vedrà, and this is back in 1855. A friar named Francis Paulo Iquer was exiled from Catalonia due to religious persecution that had been going on. So he fled to France originally in 1840, and then I think from 1840 to 1855, he had spent a lot of time like trying to continue his like preaching his beliefs and like finding the right group to share it with. And by 1851, he returned to Spain, but then he was arrested again for religious persecution, and he was transported to Ibiza. And he was banished there for 6 years. So they drop him off in Ibiza and they're like, you have to spend 6 years here.
Was anyone else there? Or is this like Spain's Australia where they just dump all the criminals?
Right, I guess. I don't know the history of that, but it was like a stay here, stay put. Which honestly, if someone was like, hey, you're annoying me, I'm going to go fly you to this beautiful tropical island on the Mediterranean, I might start misbehaving.
Don't
tempt me. He spent 6 years here, but he preferred to spend time in solitude. He like went on a lot of walks and he found Es Vedrà. So he ends up going over to Es Vedrà from the Ibiza main island. And I think he found like a cave, and he like basically lived in this cave, spent a lot of time praying and meditating, and apparently having some spiritual experiences.
Wait, on Ibiza?
On Es Vedrà.
On Es Vedrà.
He's the only person who's ever lived there.
Okay.
I think he wrote like a book, but it's very religious. It's very like all of his spiritual encounters, and I'll share a couple in a little bit, were like with biblical figures.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, were they? Or are they what we're going to talk about in a minute? So aside from Francis's couple of years in exile on Es Vedrà, no other living man or woman, I'll specify human being, has called Es Vedrà home. There was a small lighthouse constructed and then automated in 1963 because a lot of ships were having some weird experiences. So I think they needed to have an extra like, hey, warning, there's a rock here.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, Es Vedrà is protected land with 166 flora and fauna, a critically endangered bird called the Eleonora falcon, and the Ibizan wall lizard.
Wall lizard?
I think he likes the walls. He loves the song.
He yearns for the walls.
To the window.
To the wall. To the wall.
He loves that song. Okay, but this stunning and rocky island is also steeped in mystery and myth, one that cautions you to be wary of why is it so alluring? Why is it so mesmerizing? Why are we so drawn to it? Perhaps because it is inhabited by sirens, mermaids, or maybe because it's the third most magnetic place in the world, or maybe because there are frequent alien visitors. Let's explore all three. Wow. We'll start with the magnetic draw because, in my opinion, it's interesting, but I want to get
less interesting in comparison to the other.
Boring compared to the others.
Get it over with.
So keep in mind, a lot of this is legend and myth told over centuries, so like exact origins aren't always clear. But many people state that Es Vedrà is the third most magnetic place in the world behind the North Pole and the Bermuda Triangle.
Mm-hmm.
There were also articles that completely contradicted this, saying that like that's not true. But until I can go fly out to Es Vedrà with my magnetic monitoring tools and scientific exploration, I can neither verify nor discredit this claim.
Yeah. And it's also like that we know of, because you just told us before that we don't know a lot.
We don't know what we don't know. But despite the uncertainty, there is evidence of some magnetic anomaly because sailors and local fishermen refuse to boat here because they're constantly confused when they're boating out there. Like their navigation systems get messed up, their compasses like spiral like crazy, and there is record of multiple ships getting confused, crashing in this area.
So can you not see the mainland?
You can, but I think it's like at nighttime.
Okay.
Or even if like, and I think it's like you could be out there during the day and your compass is all weird, but luckily you can see the mainland, so you can like navigate your way back. But why risk it? Because like, what if like your system's shut down and you can't get back and then it turns to nighttime? Anyway, I would trust the locals on this, and they say that even birds seem to lose their sense of direction around this rocky landscape. But others are drawn to the magnetic energy and go towards it. Similar to Sedona, people come to Es Vedrà for meditation, yoga, and holistic energy healing retreats, but getting permits is difficult. So I think a lot of people are like...
And getting someone to bring you out there.
That or staying on the mainland of Ibiza, which is also an island, that overlooks Es Vedrà. To be like, let's
absorb it. Summon
a
call to it.
With this claim of a high magnetic field and connecting it to the Bermuda Triangle, there are some accidents that have happened around here. We've got shipwrecks and plane crashes. There are a lot of tales of ships going missing and crashing in Es Vedrà, but there's no like confirmed documented versions of this. But there is a shipwreck called the Don Pedro, which was a merchant vessel that sank after striking underwater rocks near Ibiza's coast. But when I looked up on the map, it is kind of like, so you'll see, I made a little map. The red pin is Es Vedrà, and then the shipwreck is over where the ship is.
Oh yeah, so it's not really that close.
No,
you can't even see one from the other.
Exactly, but you can go scuba diving and like look at the shipwreck, and it's pretty cool.
Oh god, that's so creepy.
Yeah, and then there are plane crashes and one specific flying incident that will lead us into the alien talk. First, I'm going to start with the tragedy, which, content warning, there's a lot of loss of life here. I will say I don't think it's connected to Es Vedrà, but it's something that the locals, I think, when they heard of all this happening, we're humans. We tend to dramatize, we tend to exaggerate, and I think we also like to look at connections and find some answers and reasoning. So there are people who attribute this accident to Es Vedrà or like the weird magnetic stuff. Okay, so on January 7th, 1972, Iberia Flight 602 was a domestic flight with 98 passengers and 6 crew members, departed Valencia, Spain, bound for Ibiza. Most of these passengers were Valencia locals heading to Ibiza after a long work week looking for a holiday. At approximately 12:15 p.m., the aircraft's captain radioed to Ibiza's airport requesting permission to descend to 5,500 feet, along with the words, "Get me a beer ready, we're here." The aircraft was approaching runway 7 when it descended further and further at 2,000 feet, and neither the captain or co-captain or any of the crew members noticed that their altitude was too low. And as they kept descending lower and lower, they tragically struck Mount Adeliasa at 1,430 feet. Upon impact, the aircraft exploded, taking all souls aboard. Despite the horrific accident, people can't help but wonder if the proximity to Es Vedrà messed with the controls and the ability to see their altitude, because they're landing, you know? Like, how did they just descend so quickly and not realize that a mountain was right in front of them?
Yeah.
But it also could just be a really tragic accident. What is not a tragic accident and is actually Spain's most infamous UFO incident or sighting is the Manises UFO incident. And I might be butchering that. But this took place on November 11th, 1979. It's the most famous UFO sighting in Spain, and also would be terrifying if you were a crew member or on this plane. So November 11th, 1979, flight JK-297 took off from Salzburg, Austria with 109 passengers on board and was heading towards Las Palmas. It briefly stopped in Mallorca for a refueling stop before continuing on its way to Las Palmas. And I believe, and I could have looked up the map where it was, but at 2300, so 11 p.m., while flying just over the Es Vedrà area, the pilot and his crew noticed a set of red lights approaching their plane fast. It appeared to be on a collision course with the plane. So naturally, all of the crew is becoming increasingly worried and alarmed.
Yeah.
They radioed to flight control. They're like, "What's this on the radar? We're very confused. What's happening?" They had no idea, so they call in the military. The military is looking at the radar, and their radar is not picking anything up. Or if it's picking it up, they're like, "This is not ours. We have no idea what type of spacecraft this is." So then they work with air control, and the pilot asks to descend to a lower altitude to basically like avoid any collision. He gets the okay. He lowers the plane.
Which, like, if you don't get the okay, just freaking do
Just
it.
freaking
What's
do
the
it.
alternative? Like, oh, someone didn't give me permission, so now we all
So,
die?
Yeah. But he's descending, and as he's descending, these red lights mirror his actions, doing the exact same thing. Everything the plane did, these red lights followed. And they kept keeping this like specific, so like while they appeared and almost looked like they were on a collision course, ever since that moment, they kind of stayed steady and in the same spot distance-wise from the plane. So they were no longer coming towards the plane as if they were going to collide. It was like traveling with the plane at the same distance.
Suddenly they were going backwards.
Right. So everything flight JK-297 did, the red lights followed, keeping a small distance from the plane. Every evasive measure failed, and the pilot obviously was concerned. Everyone is concerned for the safety of the passengers aboard. So ultimately, they decide to make an emergency landing. The red lights followed right up until the plane approached the runway that they were doing the emergency landing of, and then poof, disappeared completely. Then, so like these lights disappear off of all radar. Then the moment they disappear, all of a sudden 3 new lights appear on radar, like in a different place, not far from here. And then like UFOs are being spotted by multiple people on the ground. So the plane lands. Luckily, no one is harmed. They're safely landed. But without any real answers, the local airbase is like, well, we need to go investigate. So they send out a Mirage F1 to investigate, flown by Spanish Air Force Captain Fernando Camara. And he had to increase his speed to Mach 1.4, which I don't know all of the speeds and whatnot, but that's fast, to get visual contact with this thing. When he came in close contact, he noted that it appeared to be a truncated cone shape, changing colors. The object quickly disappeared. And again, in the same way that like when the plane landed, 3 new ones appeared on radar, the object disappears. And then all of a sudden, bloop, another thing appears on the radar, some distance away.
It's interesting that they're cone-shaped, too.
Right. So this Air Force captain, Fernando, pivots and he goes to follow where this new thing appeared. He accelerates, gets close to it, and again, this object accelerates and disappears. Poof. This time, so the second time in encountering, coming close to this object, and it disappears, all of a sudden the pilot's avionics systems start going crazy. They act scrambled, electronic flight systems get jammed, and there was an onboard alert system because this is a military military craft. Thank you. It starts warning him that it was like as if he had been locked on by a missile.
Oh my God. My heart would drop if I were in that situation. Like, I'm done. I don't even know what this is.
Luckily, he was fine. He was able to land. He basically decided, like, I've lost this ship.
Yeah.
And then as he was heading back to the base, the blip basically reappeared on a radar heading towards Africa. And that was basically it. That's how the story ends. We don't know what it was, but like everyone's like, that for sure was a UFO.
Yeah. That's wild. And the fact that the system thought that they were locked in on because there's something perfectly moving.
Right. And it's like no spacecraft that we know of, no craft, no flying object that we have in our capacity that is public can go from being in one spot like this on radar, like it's like we know it's this object, and then poof, disappeared, reappear miles away, like the same object on a radar, but miles away within seconds. That doesn't happen.
It's just so wild that like all of this happens and has happened for so long, but it took so long for certain. I will say other countries were definitely vocal about being like, yeah, there's UFOs. Like we see this shit all the time. But it is crazy that there's still people being like, well, no, we can't say that. And it's like, you're not saying aliens. You just have to say UFO. Like, do you know it?
Right.
Have you identified it? If not, then it's an unidentified
flying object. Agreed. Which this brings us to a video that we're going to talk about and look at and watch.
Yes. I love when we get evidence.
I know. So naturally after this like aircraft incident, the most infamous Spanish UFO incident, this sparks some UFO alien extraterrestrial talk. And a lot of people who know of the history of Es Vedrà have theorized that maybe because of this magnetic force that is here, like, is this a hot spot for aliens? Mm-hmm. Or do the aliens' activity create the magnetic field? We don't know. But many people have theorized and many people have seen UFOs in this area. And a lot of people spot like the red light phenomena, which is very similar to like what the plane saw, like these red lights. Mm-hmm. And in 2024, there was a video that went viral on TikTok of a potential UFO sighting right over Es Vedrà. So I will show it to you, Corinne, and we will play it in the episode.
Oh my God. At first I was like, are there two moons? And then you kind of see it's huge.
And then it like darts away really quick.
So fast.
And like at first I was like, is this like a light flare? Because I've taken pictures, especially at like sunset. Mm-hmm. There are times where like I'll get a photo and then it like kind of looks like there's this like a
green orb or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think it's a UFO. Although some people have debated, I don't really trust this, but I don't trust the debunkers. But once this video like came out, I think Will Smith partnered up with a club in Ibiza that was like UFO, like space themed. And they like used this video to promote it. And it was Will Smith being like, I'm in Ibiza and like there's a UFO. I'm going to go check it out. Like my buddy told me that like there's a rooftop where I can go see it. And then he like climbs up to the roof and it's a club. And then when I was looking it up online, people were like, no, this was just a stunt by the nightclub called Universe, UNVRS. And it was a visual effect. Sure, maybe. But this is like random people watching the sunset overlooking Es Vedrà. And like, unless they're plants by the club and this is happening multiple times, mm-hmm. I don't know. What visual effect are they putting in the sky that everyone can see like that? Or
it's just like after post, you know, like I think that's what they're trying to say. Like
they put it into like,
yeah, it was like an editing thing. Like people like acted like, oh my God, a UFO. And then
no, it's a UFO.
I like that you were thinking like a Batman signal, like
I literally
beamed
was.
out
I literally
into the
was.
sky.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Anyway, I think it was a UFO. Either way, this is a magical place, and the magic does not end there. Early Phoenicians believed that Ibiza Island was a magical place blessed by the gods. They believed that no animal, no plant, or species that was capable of harming man could survive on this land. So they would collect, and I think to this day, like some people do collect like the local soil and wear it in a pendant around their neck as like a protective.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
The Phoenicians considered the land to be inhabited by the goddess Tanit, who has become Ibiza's patron of fertility and the moon. So like, I think there's a lot of like Tanit offerings and like protections and gifts because she is the goddess of the land. Father Francis, who I talked about earlier, who's the only one who ever inhabited Es Vedrà, wrote about his prophetic and mystical encounters while on the island. He wrote of seeing unearthly beings surrounded by white light. And then he wrote a lot about seeing like one of the encounters was with Rachel from the Bible. She was like talking to him, and I didn't read the whole story because I was like, the second you turn it biblical, I'm like, no, that doesn't fit my narrative. So I'm gonna
yeah. Your eyes glaze over a little bit. Wait, who's who?
Who's the who? But the question is, are these ramblings of a man who spent so much time alone, who then like is hallucinating things, or is he really having spiritual encounters? Was this a biblical being, or was this perhaps a siren?
Oh, interesting. I know, that's what I was about to say. Not to say that people don't experience like biblical encounters.
Yeah.
But it does make me wonder, you know, if someone's coming in with that sort of lens, if they're trying to make sense of what they just experienced, who they saw, that they're attributing it. They're like, this must be an angel. This must be this person from the Bible, because that's the only way they can make sense
narrative
of what they're experiencing.
But given the history of Es Vedrà, I wonder if it's a siren or a mermaid, because there is a lot of siren, mermaid-like tales, legends from Es Vedrà. According to history and legend of Es Vedrà, it is home to the sirens and sea nymphs, the very same creatures from Homer's The Odyssey, who sing to sailors and lure them to shipwreck. Obviously, The Odyssey is a fictional story written about like the gods and whatnot. But people believe that the inspiration for specifically like Odysseus, who had been like lured by sirens, came from Es Vedrà.
Oh.
Yeah, that there are sirens there that have done that and do that throughout history, and like that they inspired Homer to write that portion of it. There are multiple stories of fishermen encountering what they later come to believe are sirens. And one of the most famous legends of mermaid sirens, and I know there's probably like a big distinction between them, but there's also a lot of similarities, is the story of a fisherman who fell in love with a mermaid. As the story goes, a young fisherman was out at sea fishing, trying to bring in harvest and food for his family, when he heard the sound of a beautiful woman's voice. He was confused, like, is there a woman who needs my help? Like, where is she coming from? He's looking around, and he finds a woman in the ocean. And he's concerned, like, oh my gosh, like, how did you get abandoned out in the ocean? And he like goes up to her to try to save her. And she's a little bit trepidatious, like nervous, but sensual. And she's like, I can't get on your boat. And he's like, why? Girl, you want to just stay in the ocean? This is how they obviously talk.
Yeah.
But as the story goes, she reveals that she is a mermaid and she is stuck in the ocean. And she doesn't want to be in the ocean. She's Ariel. She wants to be where the people are. And this man starts to fall in love with her. So night after night, he returns to the same spot. Night after night, she returns to visit him. And the two have this beautiful romance that is bound for tragedy because they are never going to be together. He cannot live beneath the sea and she cannot live on land.
Can't he get a beach house? Or like one of the houses that like
literally,
or a houseboat. Yeah. There we go.
I don't know what
you
time
guys are thinking
was.
too in the box.
A houseboat with like this like room that is those like swim up.
That's exactly
Bora
what I
things.
was trying to say. Like when I was trying to do this, I was like the house on like stilts or something.
Up into the ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should build that for them. We should go back in time.
Is he still alive?
I don't think so. This story does end there, and it ends in this like sadness, but it is a sweet story of love between a mermaid and a fisherman. But most of the stories are not this sweet. Most of them are stories of weary sailors returning home after a long voyage, being lured by sweet, sensual, melodic music, sometimes voices that mimic their own loved ones, and then they're lured presumably to their deaths. There's also a tale of a sea witch who lives beneath the waves, guarding the secrets of Es Vedrà, and she is said to appear to divers or those on spiritual quests. And she either, depending on your intent, like this is what's it reminds me a lot of like the Appalachia conversations, where a lot of these mystical beings and legends surrounding this like are all with intention of protecting the land. And this sea witch is said to, depending on your intent, either help you or harm you. So if you're there trying to steal stuff from the land or like harm the natural habitat, she will attack you. For it. But if you're lost and you need help and you mean no harm, she'll help you. There's also a tale of a protective guardian dragon that circles the land, or this island specifically, invisible but deeply felt. And there have been sightings of shimmering serpentine shadows beneath the surface. Like people will be on boats and they see like this massive shadow beneath the water.
Whoa. Yeah. That is probably one of like my top fears.
Terrifying.
To not know what it is under you. It's clearly like aware of you, maybe stalking you, and could so easily tip your boat and you're done.
Oh, there was a stat that I don't know if I wrote it down, but so the megalodon, which is, we know that they existed, but they're prehistoric and they're said to be extinct. Their teeth still wash ashore, and they're like 7 inches in length. Which some people are like, oh, like it's just washing ashore from like many, many years ago. But others are like, or does it still exist?
Can't they date them?
Probably, but I didn't look that part up.
Because that's not important. The megalodon is out there.
Megalodon is beneath your feet if you're in the ocean.
Why would they go extinct? Sharks are like one of the oldest to exist. And if the depth of the ocean and the vastness of the ocean provides a safe haven for them, perhaps they just evolved and adapted to live deeper and darker and further from land.
But yeah, so there's this sea dragon. And then there might also be a giant on Es Vedrà. But this, I think, is another example of a lore or a story, a myth that had been told to people about protecting the land. Because as the story goes, 2 brothers lived on the mainland and their father grew very, very sick. They were so desperate to help him, but the only thing that could help him was this herb or this plant that only grew on Es Vedrà, sea fennel. Despite the dangers, and they knew the giant that resided on the island, they were like, we are going to risk our lives to go get this for our father. So the 2 brothers take off to the island of Es Vedrà, and sure enough, as they arrive, they are captured by the giant. The giant puts one brother in chains, holds him captive in a cave. Then he makes the other brother go fish for octopus. And he taunts him and he goes, if you do not bring me enough octopus, your brother will be dinner.
What the heck? Also, I'm sad for the octopi.
I know. So then the brother who's free goes and he's like tirelessly fishing for octopus, trying to save his brother. And
he has to go to Octopus City.
He goes to Octopus City. And then he's like, wow, this is stunning. Like,
maybe I'll just live
stay here. He meets the mermaid and she's like,
they fall in love.
Yeah, exactly. But he also finds sea urchin and he puts the sea urchin inside of the octopus.
Brilliant.
So when he brings the octopus back to this giant, the giant unknowingly devours, eating the octopus stuffed with sea urchin.
Poison.
And it wrecks his stomach. He could have used the gas X that you went for today. And he crumbles over in pain, basically like falling, passing out, not dying, unclear. But so the brother is able to save his other brother, and the 2 of them are able to take the sea fennel and go save their father. That's the legend. I think it is a story to kind of warn people from taking from the land.
Yeah.
And it does remind me, it does have like very the Odyssey or like Homer type similarities and themes, where it's like these like sea creatures or demigods that you have to be very cautious about how you interact with them. And
which now, this is like you talking about it in this way, it's making me revisit in my mind the OA because it was all like the Homer, the Odyssey,
Yeah.
and now I'm like recognizing all these themes within the characters that
Yeah.
were in it, which I never really thought about when I was watching it.
Well, it's funny because we read the Odyssey and the Iliad in high school.
Yeah.
And I did not appreciate it. But I read Circe recently
Mm-hmm.
and I loved it. And it made me want to go back and reread the Odyssey and Iliad because
Yeah, I didn't really care about Iliad, but I actually really liked the Odyssey when we read it. Because I've always kind of been obsessed with like mermaids and sea death.
Yeah. Maybe I'll reread it. Stay tuned. But regardless of all this, as you can tell, there are a lot of stories, a lot of legends, and a lot of beliefs about Es Vedrà. And it's a beautiful place, but it does have its dangers. And it's also a place that you should be very respectful of and towards. And to this day, fishermen still avoid the area. Whether it's mermaids, magnetic forces, aliens, or giants, they're like, I don't know, best to stay away. You cannot step foot on Es Vedrà because it's a protected nature reserve. No one's allowed to live there or even stay overnight. But there are boat tours, kayaking trips, and you can view it from like a cliff on Ibiza. It's a popular sunset spot. I do think over the last couple of years, there have been a lot of closures because of how many people were like inundating that area. And it was just like, well, now you're not respecting this area. So I think it's not as easy to get up to view.
I'm also curious about like sea fennel now and how it's created. And if it's one of those things where it's like, you can't necessarily like farm it easily. It has to be, you know, like sea moss. Like you can technically farm sea moss.
Well, we take
like,
it with our symbiotica.
Yeah. But like there's there's like varying levels of like, well, if you get like wild sea moss, there's all these extra like nature. Like there's all these arguments either way. So I am curious about sea fennel now.
Hottest new supplement.
Is it an untapped market for Two Girls, One Ghost?
Now selling sea fennel. Oh, the last thing I will say, there is some belief, and I don't know where this came from, but if you sleep facing Es Vedrà or meditate while like looking at Es Vedrà, it is said that you will have like very vivid, lucid dreams, even be able to astral project, or perhaps be visited by mermaids.
Oh, shit.
That is Es Vedrà, Spain. Oh, actually, I didn't write this down, and I might be butchering it. But you, Corinne, will love this fact. According to, I didn't write it down. So according to some scientists, Ibiza is like the one place that if the apocalypse were to happen, you could survive.
Why?
I think based on like wind patterns and like weather and atmosphere or whatnot, like you would be safe from all like traveling airborne things. Should I look up the real science of it?
Yeah. Okay, so basically like fallen ash and all of this sort of stuff you're supposed to be generally safe from because like the airspace is supposed to be kept clear. And maybe enough so that you have fish and other wildlife taking refuge there so then you have a food source.
Some people believe it's a potential refuge in apocalyptic scenario. Oh, okay. So maybe it's not science, but Nostradamus prophesized that, who was like the famed French seer, predicted that Ibiza would be the last refuge on Earth during a cataclysmic event. It's attributed to the island's unique prevailing wind patterns, which, according to legend, would protect it from a nuclear holocaust. And then the Phoenicians believed Ibiza was a magical island blessed by gods due to its rich, non-volcanic soil and the perceived absence of harmful creatures. They claim it's the only place to survive an apocalypse, but it's rooted in mythology, not scientific fact.
Can you imagine the world ends and the people that survive are the ones that were clubbing from Sunday night through Monday morning? And that's the new group that has to repopulate humans?
Listen, I've had my wild nights, so it's not to say that that's what they do all the time, but that is a hilarious concept for a show.
Yeah. Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yeah, we might not be able to produce sea fennel. But
sponsored by Sea Fennel.
And Dunkin' Donuts and Owen and now producing the Ibiza Apocalypse show.
We should write it.
Yeah.
That would be fun. In all of our free time.
Which is 0.
Okay, now hearing this story, I'm like, wow, there are so many stories that I could have picked that I was reading, but I will save some of those for another time. But
There's also sorry, I know I want to do like a future episode about this, but there are
Mhm.
also just like so many things in the ocean that I was not prepared for. Like,
Oh.
okay, there's the bloops, which is the sounds,
Mhm.
but then there's like the gloobers or globs that are like decayed carcasses that wash ashore. But then there's also belief of like an animal that literally never dies, like a vampire
Oh, is it the
creature.
vampire jellyfish?
Is that what it is?
Where they think it's like over like 1,000 years old or
Maybe.
something like that?
Yeah.
I think it's a jellyfish.
There's also like the Baltic Sea anomaly, which is it's again another electronic thing, but there's this disc down in the bottom of the ocean that they think is like a crashed UFO. Anyway, we have so many more what the fuck is in the ocean episodes
Oh my
coming
God.
your way.
Shit, yes. This is
Shit,
soon
yes.
going to be like just Appalachia and what the fuck is in the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You have to do that. I need to know about that disc.
Yeah.
Okay, this is called My Alien Story, Abduction, Dreams, and Astral Projection. Hi, girls. My name is Giselle. I've been listening to your podcast for a couple months, and you've become my company in my quiet moments. I listen to you while I'm drawing, while I'm drinking tea. Usually you make me smile with your insights. Usually, though. So sometimes
Not
we don't.
always. Sometimes you make me frown with your insights.
I love it so much, so I decided it was time to tell you my story. A story that no one believes.
We'll believe you.
Every time I've tried to tell this story, people change the topic or they don't take it seriously, almost as if they're meant to not know about it. They just put this blank expression on and ignore me. Oh, this is really interesting.
Are you a ghost?
Now a lot of people are going to know it, unless now I'm nervous that there's going to be like some sort of weird interference with our episode and we're not going to be able to.
We're just silent for the last like 10 minutes of our episode.
One time I tried to tell the story at my old workplace and the faces they made were unexplainable. They made me feel so uncomfortable. I felt like I was a creep. But in fact, I was one of those creepy kids. I'll begin the story with a brief introduction of myself. Ever since I can remember, I remember seeing not human beings in my room. When I was learning to talk, I used to tell my parents that there was a man in a mask who visited me at night. I had a name for it. Mascaro, like mask man in Spanish. Now that I think about it, I told my parents that he was wearing a mask because he didn't look human. But maybe that was his face. Big, dark eyes, no nose, pale skin, almost like a hologram. Alien. And we used to talk. It didn't scare me much. My mom used to find me talking alone in my room and playing with someone at 3 o'clock in the morning.
That probably scared your mom a lot.
She could listen to the toys' noise, but when she came in, there was no one there with me. It was just me being creepy. Years went by and my brother and I experienced paranormal events in that house. There was a spirit there that we named Thing. That's also a really creepy name. Like, oh, I was just playing with Thing. Like, what? He was some heavy, dark energy, but that's a story for another time. I went to college and this happened in Mexico 7 years ago. I studied veterinary medicine. The campus was situated in a forest area. It's so big, I used to feel energies in that forest back then. Nothing extraordinary happened, but definitely something was there watching. I didn't drive, so I used to walk and walk and walk at unholy hours when I was doing my internship and residency at the hospital. And I don't know, maybe it was connected to something during those walks, but this started to happen. The dreams. And back then, my dreams were so vivid, almost like they were astral projection. And these alien-like figures started to appear in my dreams. The first one I recalled was an amethyst crystal planet. What? There was a coastal area and mountains of amethyst. It was not day nor nighttime. There was just this weird light. And the skies were different. There was no moon. I could see the other planets in the distance. It's like how we see the moon normally from Earth. So from this place, I could see other planets. And I was just there, staring at this amazing view, and I could feel water on my feet. And then I woke up. I registered the dream in a diary, and the next one I remember, I went to sleep, and in my dream, I opened my eyes and I heard a voice. And there he was, a small, green, alien figure. He was sitting at a table, and he said, "Hello." I still remember that voice. It was not like a human. I sat, and then he offered me a burger, and then I woke up. I was excited.
How polite.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, the humans like this. A burger. I was excited. I was scared, confused at the same time. I was studying in a medical career back then, so I was pretty stressed, but it's not like I was reading or watching any alien content.
Right.
I was just trying to survive. Medical academic environment is so hard. And I was dealing with a bully resident. So those dreams kind of came out of nowhere. At this point, I was like, well, I'm visiting other planets. And the next dream that I had was my absolute favorite. I saw a cat planet.
You're kidding me.
It was a green planet. I arrived by air. I saw trees and massive nature. Like when you're on a plane and you get to see the city while landing, but this place was inhabited by cats. They were sentient, intelligent cats, a little bit bigger than our cats. And when I arrived, the cats came to greet me. They formed 2 lines in perfect order. They bowed their heads as if you do in like Korean and Japanese culture, a greeting of respect for me, the stranger.
Were you a cat or were you a human in this?
I don't know.
I physically am aching for this planet. I need to be there.
Well, maybe if you do more of the gateway tapes, you'll actually be able to astral project in this way that you get to see all of these. You get to do
I
your
just
alien
keep fostering like I've been doing.
Yeah,
and
that's
I have
true.
7 cats in my house. It's crazy.
It is crazy. You literally have 7 cats in your
It's
home
crazy.
right now. You are a cat lady.
Yes, we've known that.
Yeah, but like now it's kind of extreme. I felt really warm in my heart, and then a black cat came running towards me and jumped to my arms. I carried him. I began to walk slowly between the 2 lines of cats, and I don't remember what exactly I did there. They showed me a place, like an animal hospital. I'm sure I went there to learn something that I don't really remember.
They're like, no, don't be a medical doctor, be a pet doctor.
Come here. They either taught me or asked me to do something. I don't really remember, but I woke up and I kept my diary near me, and that is how I have all the details now. And I never forgot those dreams. I dreamt of another cat planet. This place was a little more unusual. The cats here were giants. They were wild, big orange cats. A big orange cat saw me and started to run, and he went after me. He was actually hunting me.
Oh.
I hid in a structure, and the big cat just stood there. He couldn't reach me, but I felt his breath. I heard this cat. He sounded so close. And this planet was by far the weirdest of them all. The atmosphere was dense. There was no gravity. Everything was floating. So the cats jumped from one place to another. I was hiding in that close place, and then I woke up. And the last dream I had was a place, we'll call it Mars. So Mars is a red planet, very sandy, desert-like, and it was really hot. It was kind of like a beach. I was wearing a swimming suit, and one lady approached me and said something that I don't remember exactly, and I looked at her and said, I know what you are. I saw her fingers. They were not normal. She had 3 fingers that ended in a long round tip, like amphibian-like. She saw me looking at her fingers and proceeded to lose her hologram appearance and show me her real face. Her skin was golden red. It was shiny, like glitter, and I felt my feet sinking into the sand. I began to sweat. Oh, it was so hot there. And then I woke up. That was my life back then. At night, I would have these crazy dreams of going to different planets. By day, I was this normal medical student. I did normal activities. And one night, I came back home and everything was normal, had dinner, went to sleep, and I was awoken in the middle of the night by my own cough. And here comes the very creepy part of my story. I was sleeping, perhaps with my mouth open, so my throat became so dry that I began to cough. I was gasping for air. I couldn't breathe, and it took me quite some time to recover from that. And this part's important because there's no doubt that I was awake. I'm 100% sure that I was awake. I went to the kitchen. I drank some water. I went back to bed. I stared at the ceiling for a while. I was just there contemplating my existence. And I had a bookshelf in front of my bed. And out of nowhere, 3 big black spheres came from the back of the shelf. And before I could react or even get scared, the things came over to me. It was this complete, overwhelming feeling like there was some invisible heavy force that was pushing me towards my bed. I was conscious the whole time. The 3 of them were there, cold, aggressive, empty. That's how I would describe their presence. So cold, very machine-like vibes. And by that time, I had experienced ghosts and astral beings, but with ghosts, I felt like sometimes they had some sort of like electricity to them when they approach you or touch you, but this was something completely different. Not a demon, something else. So there I was being pushed towards my bed. And while this was happening, I heard a noise like a machine beside me. It made some noise like a scanner. Is that what they were doing? Were they scanning my body? I think I saw a light, a green pastel light. And the scariest thing, a noise, a drilling noise in my head. This whole time I was fighting, I was moving, I was gasping, I was growling. My body was shaking, but they were so strong, like this invisible force. So I started to insult them in my Mexican insults that were quite nasty, but that did not work. I began to feel heavy, and really sleepy. Like maybe they were trying to sedate me. So I tried to fight harder. And I was like, well, I'm just going to pray. I hadn't prayed in years and I didn't really remember the whole thing. So I just said, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And then suddenly it stopped. They left. And for many years, I believed that they left because the praying actually worked. But what if? What if they succeeded and actually did something to me and erased my memory? Or what if that's like all she got into the prayer and then passed out?
Or they had completed what they needed to do.
Yeah.
You work in a hospital, right? You're a doctor.
Get the scans.
Go get the scans.
Right after they left, I was really exhausted. I was sweating. I felt so sleepy. I even considered going back to sleep. But then what if they came back? So I walked to the kitchen, to the living room, and I sat there alone in the middle of the night, and I did not know what to do. So like a 5-year-old, I went to my parents' room. They were used to my paranormal experiences, so they were like, what happened? But this time I looked really scared. So my father went to the living room, and I stayed in the bedroom with my mother. We talked about what happened, and we both fell asleep. Well, the figures came back. I heard them in my sleep, the drilling, piercing sounds in my head. So I started to move and say, they're here, they're here. My mother actually woke up and said, they're here, and then proceeded to insult them. And they left. They never came back. Nothing changed in me after that crazy experience. I remained almost the same, except for one thing.
What?
The dreams, those beautiful, vivid dreams, the astral projections into their worlds, gone. All gone. I never dreamt of them again, or at least not that I can remember. I still dream more, but they're normal dreams. I used to think that maybe it was because of my adult life now, but maybe they did something to me. So I continued with my normal life. And the first day after that event, I was really pale. I was shocked, but I was an intern. So that was our natural state. Medicine's harsh. No one noticed anything weird in me. And for almost a year, I slept with the lights on. And I'm saying this as a person who's very used to the paranormal, but I was so scared that they were going to come back again. I don't mind ghosts. In fact, I love everything about them. But thinking about these aliens, that gave me the creeps. Years went by. I forgot about this. I succeeded in my career. I ended up specializing in feline medicine.
I was just going to say, I feel like all those dreams were like, you need to go down this path. Like
yeah.
They were
I think
you.
Wasn't she in veterinary school?
Oh, maybe when I heard residency, I thought medical. Yeah.
Now she's cat centered. I work at a cat hospital now. I adopted a black cat, like the one that I encountered on one of the cat planets. And I love him so, so much, like we were meant to be. And also a very special orange cat that I also love so much. I believe
Does
that
he try to hunt you?
Right. Yeah. What's
Probably.
his disposition?
He's an orange kitty.
I believe that me working with the cats is no coincidence.
Agreed.
I meant to do work with them in this lifetime or learn about them, their bodies, their sicknesses. They accepted me in their world. So even though this is really hard, my medical job, the medical field, I feel like I'm doing something important in their name.
Aww.
One of our teachers used to say that cats come from other planets because their bodies, diseases, and interactions with human medicines are, well, let's just say, a bit different. I'm more into witches and ghosts now, and it does take a lot to scare me, but until this very day, I still fear the aliens. I believe the ones that visited me were maybe the Greys. Maybe they blocked that part of me that was connecting to the other ones. For some reason, maybe this was safer this way. Even now, me writing this and saying their name, it just gives me the chills, like a sense of unease that crawls down my spine. Astral projections continue, but they're different now. 2 years ago, I had an out-of-body experience. I was dreaming that I was at work, and there were a lot of patients, some of them critical. I was tired. And by that time, dealing with heavy stuff at my job, I decided in my dream that I didn't want to be there anymore. And so I walked outside of the hospital. I walked until I arrived to a forest area, and I kept walking until I reached a bridge. And then I proceeded across the bridge, and there were a lot of human figures across it. I couldn't see their faces. They were like black silhouettes with no face. And suddenly my grandfather, who had passed away when I was younger, found me and said, "You're not coming this way yet."
What?
He said, "What are you doing? This is not your way." We said hi, and he made me turn around. He said, "I'll walk with you." And we talked on our walk. I started to get hungry. He said, "Let's go grab some food." So we entered a store, a bakery, and I was choosing
Get another burger?
I was choosing went to eat when I turned around and he was gone. And then I woke up. And at the time I was dealing with some depression, but he came for me and he gave me the strength. I wanted to use this place to tell him that I love him so, so much. So this is my story. I have many other ones, but mostly smaller paranormal activity in my childhood home.
Wow.
I'm sending so much love and see you on the other side, Giselle.
Giselle, my gosh, that is a lot of encounters. Okay, I know that this is scary, and especially the encounters with the Greys, like that is so off-putting. And like, what did they do that like prevented you from
cut access to being able to see whatever you were seeing?
What if you got the message you needed? Like the cats, like that was you were supposed to follow that pursuit, and the cat planet was calling to you, and the Greys were like, you cats, you're not supposed to do this. We told you. You broke the rules.
Cat distribution system.
Yeah. And then they were like, we have to go turn off Giselle's access. And I don't
It's crazy because like the black cat too ran up and was cuddling with her as she was walking. So it does feel like that cat came down.
Yeah.
To planet Earth and was like, all right, let's go.
Let's do it. Yeah, I don't know. It does also remind me a lot of the gateway tapes and the way that we all, I think, inherently have the access and the ability to do and access places like Giselle is saying. But we, for whatever reason, society, life, upbringing, whatnot, hinders that ability. And so like practicing things like the gateway tapes opens you up to that ability. Yeah. But it sounds like Giselle just like naturally had it. And the aliens were like, you're too powerful. We can't have this.
I know. It's so wild, too, that like every single night she would go to a different planet and that they were all so different. Like, I mean, two of them had cats, which were similar, but otherwise, like
the green alien who offered her a burger.
Right. Hello. And then like the red, glistening, glittery lady on the beach where like Giselle's in a swimsuit being like, I know who you are.
I'm so confused.
They're just all so different. And the way that they felt, too. And like some of them, you got to see other planets close by.
So wild. I don't have
Where
answers.
is this?
Where is this in your brain?
Because why are we so alone here in the Milky Way? Like, why are we exiled?
I don't think we are as alone as we think. I think we are limited.
We can't see.
We're limited. I feel like the Greys put something in to block off a receptor. Because she's still able to do like the experience with her grandfather.
Yeah.
Like she's accessing other planes that exist, but maybe just not as deep into the universe. Giselle, we'd like to do a study on you.
But maybe you need to go to Es Vedrà and that will trigger everything once more.
You should get a brain scan.
And check if they did anything and drilled anything into your head.
What they put in your brain. I haven't been to the dentist in a long time. That's the sound of the dentist to me. In case everyone's wondering. Well, thank you all for joining us. If you have any mermaid stories, please stop making Corinne be mad and stop withholding them. Please email them to us.
Please.
If you've been to Ibiza and Es Vedrà and had some weird spooky stuff happen, let us know. Email us any of your paranormal encounters to twogirlsoneghospodcast@gmail.com. Join us on Patreon if you want episodes 1 week early and ad-free. And it's almost spooky season. It's gonna get weird.
Oh, yeah.
We can't wait.
As usual. So,
love you.
Did you already say thanks to Jamie?
No.
Okay, thank you to Jamie, who edits and produces our podcast. Thank you, Jamie.
We love you all.
And we will see you on the other side.
Very spooky.